fact that in the comprehensive plan, the new comprehensive plan, we talk about the fact that being able to live is should be only 30% of your finances. Okay, and I want to tell you, being on Social Security, when you put and part of that is included in your mortgage, your taxes, your cost, the maintenance of your property. If you put all those things together, I am well above 30%, okay? And I believe that there are other people also who are above 30%. And what's going to happen is these people that are above 30% are going to end up homeless because they can't afford their houses anymore. If you have a mortgage of any kind, taxes are killing us. I also have a statement that came out with our taxes. And it talks about our monthly costs, okay, for Beaver Dam. And one of the line items on here is debt service. So I called the city and I asked what debt service was about. And I said, is that debts for the future? And they said, no, those are debts that we have right now. So right now, I am paying $29.72 a quarter for the debt the city already has, okay? I'm on Social Security. How do you think I can come up with all this money all the time? We're talking close to $120 just for this breakdown that the city gave us. And then there's also a line item. For the average residential customer, the annual increase is approximately $20. Sewer, $2.88 increase per quarter on average usage. Stormwater, $1.10 increase per quarter. Solid waste, $1.01 increase per quarter. And that's what's gonna happen in 2026.
Okay.
And how do you think we're gonna handle that? Now, if you notice, my name.
Karen, I'm sorry, your 2 minutes are up.
I understand that. And I was gonna say, if you notice, my name is twice on that list, because I wanted to discuss something else. There's nowhere it says that you only get 2 minutes per person. I put it on there twice, because I wanna speak also about this resolution.
I understand that. If you would like to stick around after the meeting and speak to me about whatever else it is you would like to talk about, but right now we're gonna move on to our next speaker. And that would be Dave Cooper.
Okay, thank you for not listening.
I'm a new face here, and I come to speak against the AI data centers. They're a bad deal for the city. They're a bad deal for the citizens. I'm a taxpayer here. I live on Grant Street, and I'm worried about the air and the water being at threat. I'm worried about noise pollution. I'm worried about light pollution. I'm worried about what's happening to neighbors that live near these places, how their property values decrease, about how people all the way from Portage are having their properties ripped up by electrical lines being dragged to feed the beast that we've created outside of this town. And I hope that media is here to remind the taxpayers that part of what they will be paying for years to come is subsidy for Meta, a $1.64 trillion company that the taxpayers will be subsidizing. We're gonna have a town hall, Mayor. People asked you for a town hall. The citizens are having a town hall on March 10th. All of you are invited to come and find out what's being done. And as for Obadam, tried to be created in Mankato, Minnesota, where my family is from, and they rejected it. No deal. These are bad deals. Thank you.
Good job, Barry.
Next up is Lori Sherman.
Hello, my name is Lori Sherman, and I just wanted to mention, Mayor, you're very soft-spoken. If you could speak up, it would be easier for us to hear you. Okay, so, and even look up, I think people give you hand signals if they can't hear you. So I'm here due to my concerns about the data center. If you're someone that watches the news and does any research on it, you might have noticed there's quite a bit of negative reporting regarding AI especially, and data centers in general. And lo and behold, we're presented with one here with very little time to process and react due to the NDA that was signed. Sadly, the combination of the NDA and all the bad PR that's been happening within the state of Wisconsin especially has been very concerning. So as we're seeing this, we're seeing it over and over repeatedly, we're going to become anxious and concerned about what's happening, and we're not aware of, because when an NDA is signed, essentially it violates trust with the constituents, with the residents in the area. And so it's really hard seeing all the bad PR and thinking, wondering what happened and why weren't the people given an option to speak up and be involved. I haven't seen the video feeds of your meetings because I've been trying to attend them myself. So I don't know if there's a record of the increased attendance in person or online, and I would suggest that there probably has been since the whole issue has come up regarding data centers. I can think that we can safely say that everyone here that's going to be speaking, even if they're not willing to speak, speaking is one of the biggest fears people have. And it's been said that this group believes that there's only 5 people concerned. So we can see here and up there, it's a lot more than 5 people, and we're here to show our interest and concern.
Thank you. Next up is Katie Schmidt-Hahn.
I'm just starting my timer. I tend to babble. All right. My name is Katie Schmidt-Hahn. I live off Hemlock and on Hickory Road between Highway 51 and Highway A. Nearly 4 years ago, our neighborhood experienced an ethanol tanker spill at the end of our street. Since that time, we have endured 3 years of ongoing water issues and are still working to restore our water to a condition that feels truly safe and drinkable. That experience profoundly changed my perspective on many things. As a teacher, I encourage my students to share their thoughts, especially when opinions differ. I teach them not only to speak, but to truly listen. I ask them to stand up for what they believe in, to ask thoughtful questions, and to consider perspectives beyond their own. I teach to their needs, not to my own preferences or agenda. Above all, I teach them to lead with kindness and to act in ways that strengthen their community. Mayor Mark, as a former educator, I believe you probably embrace the same principles. Now, in your roles as mayor and city council members, I respectfully ask you to reflect on those values. Are you creating meaningful opportunities for residents to speak and answering questions? Are you listening with an open mind and forming independent conclusions? Do you truly believe this decision was what is best for the community and that it will unite rather than divide us? Have you fully considered whether it might create hardship for some, many, or the people you represent? When entering our city, we're welcomed by signs that read Beaver Dam. Life is good here. Is it? And more importantly, will it continue to be? The decisions you make will shape not only the present, but the future of this community. When your time in office is ended, will you look back with pride at the choices you made? Will you feel confident having your own children and grandchildren live here with the long-term impacts of this project? We all follow the news and see documented concerns regarding large data centers, from environmental strain to infrastructure demands. A community's reputation matters, At this moment, Beaver Dam is receiving attention, but not necessarily in ways that reflect the values and character of our town. That type of reputation will not attract the kinds of businesses that enrich our city, businesses that provide opportunities for families, create places for people to gather, and encourage residents to spend their time and money locally. We should be striving for growth that strengthens our community and enhances the quality of life for those who call Beaver Dam home. I urge you to ensure that the decisions you make that the decisions you make reflect those priorities and the voices of the people that you serve. Thank you.
Next up is Don Sikowski.
Hi, so tonight I have a question for the Common Council and the Mayor. What if the roles here were reversed? What if the people behind me were actually the ones making decisions impacting your properties, impacting your lives? I have to assume most, if not all of you have houses. One of the biggest assets the average person has. You know, a house, a place of pride, of memories, an inheritance to leave your kids, a safe haven from a bad day. And one day the people behind me decided to put a huge data center in your front yard. How would you feel? I see a lot of stone faces here, by the way. I don't see a lot of empathy. That's a side note. There is no long-term data on the effects of data centers. So even under best circumstances, putting one up is a gamble. A gamble on the health of surrounding people. A gamble on the finances of the surrounding people. A gamble on their futures. What if some group did this to you? And all they offered you was 2 minutes in return. You know, for your whole life, working night shift, working overtime to fix a house, having grandchildren over, safe water to drink. Is that a lot to ask for? How would you feel? Thank you.
Next up is Bob Lauer.
Hello, my name is Bob Lauer. I live in the city of Beaver Dam for about 25 years now. And I just wanted to say that I think, first off, we as citizens of Beaver Dam should not be bearing any of the costs associated with creating and maintaining these businesses that are that are proposed here. And I feel that there's some ambiguity on what costs could, in the future, could come back and rest on the shoulders of the citizens and consumers, like future utility rates and economic disasters and many other things that are possible. So I would hope that we look forward to this, but the concerning thing I have is that there seems to be a rush to get these projects completed and passed through and started. And I just don't understand why we're rushing these things through. And I would hope that you would take care and work with us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Thomas Sikowski.
My name is Thomas Tchaikovsky. My family and I have been Beaver Dam residents for almost 30 years now. I'm going to direct my questions to this town council and to the previous mayor's council because I realize not everyone held office then. My main question is, who are you representing? I feel it is not Beaver Dam citizens. a multi-million-dollar business project for the city, was never brought up to a ballot for the citizens to vote on. Instead, it was agreed upon in secrecy by our council and included a non-disclosure agreement to further sneak it in. Who are you representing? Not us. We are told it's a done deal. Too late, move on. When asked multiple times to give the people a town hall meeting to discuss our concerns, the mayor refused. Again, who are you representing? Now we are faced with an out-of-state developer wanting to purchase more Beaver Dam property to facilitate yet another data center. Who votes on this? The Common Council. If we get 2 minutes to speak twice a month with no two-way discussions, how do you know what the people want or don't want? Lastly, I ask, who are you representing? Thank you.
Next up is Gabrielle Reyes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm here to once again talk about Meta's data center, but more specifically, one of the aspects that you, the Common Council, and Meta have tried to push as a positive. That aspect being the jobs it'll bring to the community. Now, several weeks prior, I brought up how these jobs don't offer the normal person, and it requires degrees and years of experience that the average resident of Beaver Dam just doesn't have. Moving past that complaint, let's talk about the actual work culture that Meta has developed and how it is actively anti-worker. The most glaring example of Meta's anti-worker practices being its long history of promoting, to quote former Facebook engineering director Arturo Bejar during his testimony to Congress, quote, Meta fosters a culture of see no evil, hear no evil that overlooks evidence of harm. In a book written by a former Facebook public policy director named Sarah Wynne Williams, she alleged her firing from the company was due to her reporting one of her higher-ups for sexual harassment. And she isn't alone. Just last year in August, a judge denied Meta's request for dismissal of a sexual harassment case involving another former longtime Meta employee named Kelly Stonelake. Those are the most recent examples, but I don't want to just focus on that. Instead, I want to also mention how Meta, with the help of strict non-disclosure agreements, have kneecapped any chance of union building within the workplace. In 2024, the National Labor Relations Board ruled that Meta had unlawfully restricted employees' right to organize. It had also come to light how Meta forbade employees from discussing disruptive and controversial topics such as women's health care, politics, and vaccinations, as well as LGBTQ rights. In fact, in 2024, Meta data scientist Saima Akhtar was fired from her position as a result of her activism involving workers' rights and censorship. I say all this to make the point that you people talk about how great this will be for the community. But the facts show that this will do nothing but bring more harm than it's worth. And you had a responsibility to all of us. And either you people knew all this and still went through with this deal, or you didn't bother looking at any of this. Either way, that does not speak highly of you people and your skills as leaders. God bless Beaver Dam and its citizens and its future.
Next up is Mary Hartle Gill.
Hi there. You don't know me, I don't know you. I've only been in Beaver Dam for 3 years, and I'm renting. I don't own a house here, but I do have family here. If things get really bad with the data centers as far as cost and damages, I can pick up and move fairly easily. These people can't. You can't. I'm guessing most of you own homes here, you've built lives here, and you, as well as I, am facing the damages of these data centers. Everything I see and hear about up and running data centers is not good. It scares me. Why would any of us believe this data center or any others that are proposed for this area would be any different than any of the others that are already existing? The water quality decreases and water cost increases. Electric use and cost increases for all of us. The air quality is heavily affected. My daughter has asthma, you probably know or have, people who have asthma, or you have it yourself. The nearby environment is already being polluted. The little creek out there that gets sucked dry and then filled up every few hours with some kind of residue from the data center. Somehow, we end up paying for the infrastructure by using the taxes from the data center for it. I don't understand all of the TID, I'm not very smart about those sorts of things. You all know more about it because you read it, you negotiated it. Somehow we end up paying for all of this, and apparently we are giving them tax breaks for 21 years, if that's correct. I'll be dead by then, and a few of you will be. Anyway, I just wanna finish by saying that I'm one of the many, many people here who are practically begging you for a town hall meeting so that we can work together to figure out how best to fix what can be fixed yet. Because I believe that there is fixing that we can do. Thank you.